raise the bar on, let's do a luxury home, let's do something that's really unique that can be reused. The optimal size for these would be 16 by 16, which does create a 256 square foot space that makes a good room. So it makes a great master bedroom size, it makes a good kitchen size, family room, entryway, library, you name it, they all lend well within that shape and size. And when you put them all together and with various openings depending on the orientation, we've ended up with a home that's over 3,000 square feet that is made up of these 256 square foot pods. And in doing that, we realized each one of these pods are identical to the other. Some of the window locations are different and so forth, and some of the heights are different. So in order to create different architectural textures, rather than just having everything at 8 feet, which would have been optimal to just drive it into the direct energy center, we wanted some varying heights, some interest from the street level, some curb appeal. And so what Richard did was he came up with 3 module sizes, where the first one is 8 feet and it's completely closed. All 4 sides are completely wrapped. Then we have a 10-foot and a 12-foot module, which also are comprised of the 8-foot size modules. And then on top of those, we put basically like the top of a box, a hat on top of it. So it's open on the top, so you get a cathedral ceiling application for a 10-foot height and for a 12-foot height. And the nice thing about that is, because all those 16 by 16 squares are all the same size, we can then grow or shrink that building just by taking one of those away. And an identical structure can be added to someone else's house that is built up of these pods. The efficiency of the home as it works as a unit, the insulation that is basically the entire building envelope. We have high density spray foam insulation in all the walls, the floor package, and the roof assembly. What that does is it allows each of those units to be placed in any orientation and still have the same resistance to heat loss or heat gain. That's one of the real benefits of that design, of the block design or the pod design. From an efficiency standpoint as well, when you get into this type of home where it's built in a factory setting, you get all kinds of efficiencies as far as material usage. Whereas on a traditional building site, you would have 2x4s and sheets of plywood lying outside that are subject to the elements warping, twisting, rot, and damage. In a factory setting, the nice thing is it's all environmentally controlled. So from a materiality standpoint, everything stays crisp and straight and just how you want it to be when building a custom home. One of the other big efficiencies that you get is all the scrap pieces of material, the end cuts and cutoffs, and every job you always over order for a little bit because you want to make sure that you're not short. Well, the nice thing is when it's in a factory built setting like this, all of those spare leftover materials are used, stored, and used for the next project. So you don't have the same waste. You don't have even if you were trying to reuse the material and use it on another job site, I would still have to have one of my guys drive to the site, load the material, and truck it to another site. It's grossly inefficient. So by the time you drive it, the value of the material is lost, plus the fossil fuels used to truck it from site to site. And the last efficiency, great efficiency on this type of factory build is the worker efficiency. We all know what it's like to work when it's 35 degrees Celsius out or when it's 35 below out. You never work as hard or as fast as you do when it's, say, 20 degrees out. So the nice thing about a controlled climate is you're never having to work in the rain in a factory. You're never having to work in the snow. It can always be a constant temperature where people are comfortable and they're more efficient as a result. So those are some of the great efficiencies of doing a project this way, where we're pre-building it in factory setting and driving it out to the site. The shift in what the homeowner views as to be a dream. We all look at all these fancy pictures in magazines, and we've walked through these types of show homes in the past and said, I want that exotic hardwood. I want that really gorgeous kitchen cabinet or those lights or whatever. What we're really trying to do by doing this project is, yes, it's going to have all those nice luxuries, but we're looking at more of a responsible home, one that is cognizant of its relationship with the rest of the world. And that's why we did work with the Institute Without Boundaries and their 12 architectural principles, is because we've looked at how the home interacts with the environment, how it interacts with our financial well-being, our social well-being. And what we've tried to do is take a look and say, okay, maybe that exotic hardwood that we aspired for last year isn't really what we aspire for anymore. Maybe now we aspire for a home that is a little bit more socially responsible, or allows us to interact better with our family. It's not as segregated. We don't have, or interaction with the community. We don't have the traditional front yard, backyard that you've always seen in suburbia. Now we've got internal courtyards where everyone can gather and play and interact, and all the pods look into that, and it just creates much more of a unified family unit. And what it allows is, it allows the homeowner to change their thinking, in that maybe it's not that exotic hardwood that is really my idea of a dream home. Sure, that's what I've been told it is by all the manufacturers of exotic hardwood, but maybe it's more important to me to have a home in a location that I can live from the day I buy my first home to the day they wheel me out. You know, you don't have to leave your community in order to grow or shrink your home. And it's just shifting the mentality of the homeowner and their aspirations and what they view a dream home to be.